Hi everyone, this is going to be a reading on how your telepathy works. A reminder that this is a general reading, so not everything is going to apply to you. Please just use your intuition to fit it to your own situation the way you need to, and anything else that doesn't fit, let it pass to the person it needs to be received to. I am going to be using the Aleister Crowley Black Tarot deck. Pile 1 will be this raven, or not raven, it's like a bird skull that looks sort of like a plague mask, and at the third eye there's a little rosebud growing from the skull charm. I'm pretty sure it's made of bronze. Our second pile is going to be this pendant of the moon with a little swan surrounded by a purple aura in the amulet. It's very beautiful. It was given to me by one of my partners. This third pile is a spiral. A metal spiral, or a seashell. So, yeah. Hello pile 1. If you chose this crow raven bird skull with a flower protruding from the third eye, this is going to be your reading on how your telepathy works. Spirit, connect me to pile 1's angel spirit guides, ancestors, those who watch over them on Nevaeh, those who watch over them in this life, in this realm, those who've connected to them over multiple lifetimes, soul family, soul bonds, soul ties, and karmic ties. Please align me with their highest vibration and allow everything I do to be in their highest good. Please allow me to connect with everyone who aligns with this pile in some way. A lot of you are very stiff, firm, foundations kind of people. You don't let anyone walk all over you or get in the way of what you know you truly need. You are not afraid to be prosperous in the things you desire. I'm also hearing that some of you are Libras, or have Libra energy, bringing karmic justice onto a lot of events and situations or relationships, people in your life who perhaps have failed at working on themselves or have caused you disappointment or pain or unhappiness, and you've lost that strength, or you've lost control, or you lost your temper, or they made you lose your temper, like live in some sort of illusion. But your power lies in your sense of passive observement, your sense of judgment without bias or attaching it to your own needs. Really deep down, you know how to be most fair in a situation, so when somebody treats you unfairly, that's the only time you ever get confused, get triggered, because your mind doesn't see a way in a world in which one could vibrate that way, or they just constantly hurting other people, causing bad karmic cycles, not fixing themselves, not changing themselves, not loving themselves, and or manipulative people, or not even people, just energies, entities, groups of people, or energies beyond this world. Spirit, how does Pal One's telepathy work? How does Pal One's telepathy work? The Tower. How does Pal One's telepathy work? How does Pal One telepathy work? Pal One telepathy. Nine of Pentacles game came out with Five of Swords defeat in reverse. How does Pal One telepathy work? How does Pal One's telepathy work? Prince of Discs. The Hermit. Bottom of the deck energy, Prince of Cups. So again, when you are unaligned with your ability to stay passive and not get overwhelmed by your emotions, and your emotions turn reverse, and you take on those bad emotional patterns that you know aren't good for the situation. That's when you're least, that's when you're not in your telepathic elements. You're not in your power. You're not gaining anything. It's just a projection of your ego. On the opposite end of that, where your telepathy is rooted, is in your sense of emotions. A lot of people's morality and their logic tends to be tied to the way they feel. It's rooted in the way they feel, and that the words that we make come out of feelings in our brain that we interpret into words, which are of the air element, are of logic, but they are all rooted within this emotional intuition of when a situation is fair and when a situation is unfair. You intuitively know that when you're able to not get wrapped up in your own, stuff that you have going on, and you're open and surrendering and seeing clearly the situation from your heart. It's almost like you speak out at the right exact time to come down with judgment on people's ego, unnecessary ego. I'm hearing tame the snake. Some of you might have a marvelous ability to strike at the right moment, or perfect moment to, I'm seeing scorpions just hitting right where it hurts perfectly to inspire the perfect response. And this Prince of Cups is riding a bird. So you are riding, the morality, the thought, the logic, the sword of what you believe, cutting down what isn't true. But when you are not, passive, when you get too overwhelmed, and when your emotions control you, instead of your logic, and you don't talk it out, and you instead just explode, that's when you fall off the bird. That's when you fall out of the sky. You just fall from your high earth, from your clouds, from your burst of knowledge and prosperity and clarity down to the sea, the ocean, the subconscious. You go back to your pain, you go back to where you rose out of from the first place. And this can almost be a cycle. Everyone has a cycle, and you go between being balanced to being unbalanced. It's a normal thing, but being aware of it really and accepting those moments is maybe what spirit wants you to focus on, or maybe just try and believe in yourself, the fact that you can do that, and not blame yourself when you do take on this Prince of Cups reversed energy. You can't control your energy. Everyone has it, and being aware of it and learning the consequences of it is really, your own work, responsibility to do. In the end, you can't make other people do that. You can only point out when you are feeling uncomfortable or unheard in yourself, or walk away when you know the situation isn't fair for you. Prince of Discs, along with the Prince of Cups, just tells me that you have an abundance of carefree energy, and that you are in alignment with the universe without really having an attachment to it, or it having an attachment to you. You easily flow through things in a very lucky way that maybe other people spend a lifetime trying to achieve that peace that you do in a regular moment, but you tend to flow with exactly, your vibration and what you want, and things tend to happen in your favor a lot. So maybe practicing gratitude, meditating on gratitude and appreciation for what you have would really help expand upon that power. You also give in a sort of abundance. Your telepathy happens in almost a financial way, or a way that is bound to the earth, as if you give someone a gift or a present, whether of prosperity, of abundance, whether it's a gift from within yourself, of your own magic, or if it's a gift of material objects from what you've earned out of your power, what you do in the material world. People receive your emotions through those actions. They receive your acute intentions through, what you give to them. And it's almost as if, it's almost this energy as if you give a lot to people, or people see that within you where you give a lot to them. And it's what they appreciate about you. Like it could have gotten you hurt in the past, but it's also something that, people know you're a real person. They know you wouldn't hurt them. They know you wouldn't take advantage of them. They know that you have been hurt before, and you see the light within yourself, and they know how giving you are, with just how much abundance you have within yourself, how much wisdom you have within yourself. And yeah, sometimes maybe that could have gotten taken advantage of when you weren't in your element. But I'm definitely hearing that's a lesson you've learned, especially as of recently with this tower. Your telepathy communicates a sense of need for change. Definitely, because people who aren't balanced within themselves end up not looking within, and then hurting people around them, and hurting themselves. It's almost like a passion to cut that down. You hate that energy. You know it's wrong. You hate it within yourself, definitely. That's because you've taken so much pain to balance that within yourself. And it's almost as if all of your actions, everything you speak, your mutuality with the person is based on this root of breaking down foundations of what people thought they once were. Like, all of your conversations might be very deep, and they might provoke thoughts of interest where people really, reflect on what they want to change or tear down within their own ego because of the way you speak. And it's not even like things that you're saying particularly, it's how you're saying it. Like, your telepathy has a lot to do with the way you move and express and say things. And it's not even that people pay attention to that in particular, but they pay attention to the message you're getting across. It's almost like the message you're getting across, very powerful. It has a lot to do with most of the telepathy people receive from you, like what people actually receive from you, because they're more focused on themselves. Most often people subconsciously pick out the things that their subconscious needs them to know, which is like, if they're not changing, then their subconscious trying to get them to change so they can like not be in a position where they're hurting their own ego. Whereas, and then with other people who are changing, they it's almost as if y'all both bond over this constant regeneration, rebirth, or Ouroboros type energy, where y'all can live in the moment in almost an infinite capacity to see each other for who you truly are. Especially with this hermit energy, you see your telepathy because of your telepathy, you see deeply into people's psyches and souls. Especially, I'm hearing, when you look into people's eyes, some of you might see auras or orbs or lights. You might see lights in people's chests or something like that. Or for some of you, you might go within yourself and sort of go into hermit mode, or like be home alone, and you see things, you hallucinate things, or you hear voices, or you do something like that, where it's like a flow of information that you pick out certain things that you're like, oh, it's like you know things about the world around you that maybe it's your subconscious telling you these things, but it's like there's no real place where the information is coming from. It's like, logically you shouldn't know those things, but it's sort of just how your telepathy works. You just like constant influx of just thoughts and emotions from the subconscious collective that's just happening all around us at once, that maybe you are tuned into with this hermit. For a lot of you, this is very overwhelming energy. A lot of you need to like put boundaries up between yourself and that energy, or just like your telepathy, or for some of you, I'm hearing like empathy is like gets to a point where like it's detrimental to your health, your mental health, your spiritual health. So you need to like have this sort of change in how you have built up your telepathy, how you've built up your walls towards people, because it's almost like you have walls in the wrong places. Like, where you should be opening up and being yourself, you have a wall. When you should be like being closed off from someone and not letting them see that part of you, you're just like completely open. You're just like, okay. Yeah, with your telepathy and the hermit, like, people definitely can see straight like into you, like the same that you can see into them. Or like, maybe you're a very transparent person. Maybe that's something you try to hide a lot, but the more you try to hide it, the more people see it. That's why you might have so many enemies, because people have like seen the like real you, and maybe it reflected a part of themselves they didn't like, so they hate you for it, or their ego hates you for it. Yeah, your telepathy has something to do with like you being a really open spirit, openly expressive with your soul, especially in your eyes and in your movements. So people see you, like people see your true energy, like with everything you do, with everything you say, like it's like like you project telepathy almost with them, like your sense of being, like it's really attached to who you are, and how you feel about yourself. Like, you see yourself as maybe just a telepathic person, or a really in tune person who's not afraid of change, not afraid of death, rebirth, like things like that, which is why I'm getting Scorpio vibes again, where you're just constantly going through this ego death to the point where you've almost gained control through surrendering to it. It's almost like you use the power of surrender. Like, the gentleness is the strength. Like, and the universe is trying to put you in this position of sharing that telepathy with other people to gain. Because 9 of Pentacles gain, you have so much abundance with it that you can give it out to other people and gain so much back. This might be something that might get you rich, or might get you a lot of fame, might get people a lot to look at you, might people want your stuff that you create. People might just like spiritually, like in the metaphysical realms, might have a lot of attention on you. I definitely just saw an evil eye. You might want to put out some protection spells against those sort of forces, because you do have other little spirit guides or something like watching you at all times. So if you're not comfortable with it, but definitely you feel the most like you're actually gaining something within yourself, or actually changing the world, or actually making a difference when you are transforming people with this sense of like telepathy you use, or trying to get them to change those karmic cycles, or trying to like really open up and express your emotionality and give that abundance, give that wisdom of looking within themselves. That's the only time you really feel like you're like gaining as a person. You feel like you're a good person. You feel like you're making a difference in the world. And in yourself, like changing yourself. I'm hearing that's not your only sense of abundance. It's almost like you don't appreciate the other parts of yourself when you should, as much as you should. I love you. And with this 5 of Swords in reverse, I'm really getting that you're not like maybe you're sometimes emotionally immature, but you always have your facts straight. You always have your logic straight. Maybe sometimes people get annoyed at you because you're more attached to the logic and the actual emotions of the situation, because you know you have that straight and you're afraid to be wrong. But when it comes down to it, when you're opening up to someone, you're speaking telepathically with them, you have this clarity of mind that is almost sought after. And a lot of people, where they never really get to have that clarity throughout their lives, or maybe some people like exploit the creativity of those people who have clarity of mind. But no, it's almost like you have this inner sense of knowing. You've been through many past lives where you know the drill. And with your telepathy, you know you're trying to change something. You know you're trying to change those pity party energies in other people's sense of defeat. Like, literally change what people define defeat and success as. And people who are just assholes, like not even bothering to think logically, literally just thinking for their egos, never taking a defeat, never being the one to blame, just like those kind of people, Your sense of telepathy really shines a light on those darkness in people. So when people like push you away or mad at you for no reason, it's because you've been shining a light on that darkness in them, which they don't want to address, and they'd rather feel like, because you triggered it, they feel like the bad problem, like the bad feeling is coming from you. Oh, it's almost like you have this like, your telepathic aura, like people can feel this abundance within you and feel how much you have to give, and like this mysterious sense of like change within you. It's almost like you could like change the world, literally. Or like so deeply about yourself with the Hermit, and you're so aligned with your emotions with the Prince of Cups. But yeah, definitely a need to kill the ego for this pile. Like, work on the shadow side, meditate on the shadow side, meditate on gratitude, meditate on things you need to change within yourself. Really look within yourself, pile 1, because your telepathy is really strong, and if your emotions aren't, in check, you can really hurt people. But yes, that is your reading, pile 1. At pile 2, those of you who chose this moon amulet with the swan middle, this third eye amulet, this is for you. These messages are for you. Spirit, please connect me with pile 2's angels, ancestors, spirit guides, those who watch over them here and beyond the veil, any energies or entities that wish to have influence on the world. Please block out any negative thoughts or vibrations that want to obstruct pile 2 from their highest good. Please align me with pile 2's highest good and allow me to help them on their journey to grow as individuals and to help others grow within themselves. Spirit, connect me to pile 2's sense of telepathy. Please tell me exactly what I need to know and what pile 2 needs to know. And please allow me to connect with everyone who aligned with pile 2's vibration on some level. Spirit, tell me, how does pile 2 telepathy work? How does pile 2 telepathy work? How does pile 2's telepathy work, Spirit? I'm hearing that those of you who are aligned with this pile are lovers. Your sense of telepathy is very rooted in your sense of love and what you give to other people with your love. A lot of sexual magic here, and also divine feminines, divine masculines. Oh no, my bad, I have some brownie batter on my face. Who, this pile has been through a lot, and really is just wanting to be open and loving to everyone they meet. I'm also hearing you that some of you have seductive powers, succubus powers, incubus powers, and that you can, use your love almost like an aura, almost like a projection to your advantage. It's like this inner light within you. Look at this strength card, this lust card. That's you. And people see how much you've been through and how you've transformed into this beautiful emperor energy, completely in balance with your divine feminine, divine masculine. Even from all this strife, you've used this strife to grow in a way that has greatly enhanced your telepathic powers. Spirit, tell me how pile 2's telepathy works. Two of Wands, Dominion. Seven of Pentacles, failure in reversed. The Moon. Queen of Wands. Queen of Disc at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, Spirit saying you have powerful sexuality. We have Aries and Mars with Two of Wands. My Aries is in Mars. Some of you might have Aries and Mars, or might have Aries placements in your chart. Might have Scorpio, Capricorn, Mars placements. People see your sense of sensuality very strongly in your character. It just appears very easily and very strongly in how you express yourself, especially when it comes to telepathy and connecting on a deep level with people. You have a very loving way about it, very ethereal way about it, very magical way about it. That some of you may be not actual magical beings, like especially those of you who have gotten in touch with their inner divine counterparts and have fully opened your sacral chakras. I've done the healing on your sacral chakra. Those have very powerful and fiery influence with your sexuality, especially when it comes to how you express your creative self and how you establish yourself in the social world, social dynamic. I'm hearing a lot of people may see you attractive when maybe they shouldn't be seeing you as attractive, or generally your power in the world comes from your attractiveness. You might use your attractiveness to your advantage. For those of you who don't use attractiveness to your advantage, you don't see how attractive you are. Everyone around you notices it. Everyone around you almost like sees it as a innate part of you, that they recognize you. That's how they recognize you. But yeah, I'm hearing that you might leave people with the sense of they've been like fulfilled, that they've been like filled up by your energy. They feel the energy is so intense and like so much of like those like passionate, crazy experiences that they might dream of or see in a movie or read in a book. Some people might get obsessed with you. Some people might fall deeply in love with you. Or you might just have a lot of sexual experiences with people. You might find that despite you not trying to make this happen, or you not even really wanting this to happen, almost every experience you go through happens to turn sexual, or other people around you come across you in a sexual way. But yeah, you have a lot of power in your sexuality. I saw this Prince of Wands as the Queen of Wands, so definitely powerful feminine energies, deeply I just heard Leo and Lilith. Yeah, deeply powerful feminine energies, of your dark side, of your shadow side. Then with Queen of Discs, bottom of the deck, some of you might just be really prosperous, might have a lot of discipline in your life, and when you're in this energy of nurturing and caring and staying grounded, Taurus energy, or you might be super attracted to people with Taurus energy, because having that energy or being around that energy, reflecting that energy, is what really strengthens or brightens your sense of telepathy. People can see it more when you're more grounded like that, and you feel more like you're being seen for who you truly are, because you're not just like expressing like whatever your ego wants, but you're actually staying grounded and expressing whatever you feel in the moment. You feel like you're actually being seen, like there's an opaqueness to your being. Some of you might have the sense like you're constantly being seen. You might feel a little bit uncomfortable with like the knowledge that you're constantly being observed, but it's sort of pushing you to stay balanced, stay grounded, and sort of use it to your advantage. Like it's sort of giving you a foundation to put confidence on, because some people take confidence from knowing they are constantly being observed. But if that's not something that's really you, obviously, you might be someone who retreats a lot into themselves, and that's where you gain your power, is when you are alone and you really reflect on yourself. That's when you really replenish your power, or feel like you are in the most aligned with your inner child, your light, your love. Maybe you speak to ancestors or spirit animals, spirit guides. When you are feeling that energy where you're just in the light, you're just you're vibrating at your telepathic vibration, but you're alone and you're just sort of in harmony with the universe. This energy brings you a lot of prosperity and can even bring you richness in the world if you can align that to a creative passion or to a job or some sort of public welfare, community help type thing. Because people have a knack for really like turning to you, really listening to you, really like paying attention to what you say because of your telepathic powers. Like, you're very bright in a room, and your energy, the things you say, come off as really important, really truthful. So you have a lot of influence, especially when you stay grounded. You actually know what you're saying. You know what you're doing. That's when you're the most like changing things, not only within yourself but within other people. Moon is giving me that you are definitely have an attachment to the moon, so like the night cycles, lunar cycles, things like that, but also you have rain in the subconscious world, so you can like see people's subconscious, and it's like you know what they truly want, you know their true intentions, because your sense of love makes you like feel that within them. You feel how much they really care, they really don't care, because of this telepathic like sacral chakra thing you have going on. And I'm getting 12th house energy. You might have major 12th house placements, or you might just have major ties to the subconscious realm, or the veil between the subconscious and the conscious realm, because your sense of love feeds into people's illusions. You know how to feed into people's illusions with your telepathy to maybe manipulate situation how you want. Or even in turn, people might manipulate you in that way. We have 7 of Pentacles in reverse. For this deck, it is failure in reverse, so I'm getting a message that you don't easily fail. You have a lot of prosperity within everything you do, everything you say, especially within your telepathy. When you use your love to your advantage, you know how to gain shit. You know how to sow the seeds to gain fruits of labor very easily, in a way where you barely have to work at all. But I'm also seeing that for some of you, you might have a lot of past relationships or friendships or even jobs or things you did that you thought were gonna be prosperous for you, but ended up you realize it was just not what you thought. Maybe it was a projection of what you thought success truly was, and you weren't truly happy. Spirit is saying align with what your true desires are and what truly gives you pleasure if you want to hone in on this powerful sexuality and love that you have on other people. I'm almost hearing that you have the power to pick and choose who you want to bring into your life and who you want to give this love and abundance and wisdom to, and this intensity, this fire energy to, because it changes people. It really does. And not only does it change these illusions within themselves and it changes their subconscious realm, but it changes their sense of failure. It makes them feel like they're not a failure. It makes them feel like they can be who they are. They are as who they are, and they can just like protect that sense of self, and they can also express that sense of self freely, while also building that foundation and feeling that like rooting that successfully in a way that it's prosperous and abundant. But you don't have to give this energy to everyone. You can choose who you give it to. And maybe your power for telepathy comes from choosing who you give it to. It's like, you know that song by Childish Gambino that's about him and that girl taking shrooms? It's off his album 31520. But and she's like, and she talks about how her power is like making other people fall in love with her. That's literally like you. Like you can make people fall in love with you, and then like completely change their mind, give them a spiritual awakening, give them prosperity out of almost nothing. Just like the events they went through that they thought weren't prosperous but actually were. They just needed to see it from a different perspective. And you give that to them, and then you leave and you move on to the next person. You like keep building within yourself. It's like spirit never makes you stay with one person. It's almost like your soul is aligned with helping more than just one person. Your soul's like, help as many people as we can because, you know, you care about this world, you care about this collective, you care about the people you've incarnated into this lifetime with. Spirit, give me some more on how Palo-2 telepathy works. Give me some more on Palo-2 telepathy. Give me some more on Palo-2 telepathy. Three of Pentacles, work. Seven of Wands, valor. Nine of Wands, strength. Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Discs. Ace of Wands. We have two aces here, 1-1. More. Oh my god. We have Mars in Virgo. Then we have Mars in Leo with 7 of Wands. We have Sagittarius energies with this 9 of Wands. Your optimism gives you strength. You give people optimism with your love and your passion you have for them. You fight for them with the 7 of Wands. You fight for people and you show them that you truly care, and you show them that they should care about which parts of themselves they should actually be caring about more instead of just not giving love to, which parts they shouldn't be giving love to. You actually make people put in the work to change themselves because they see, you know, where they see where they need to change. You actually like brighten, put a shine of light on those opportunities that everyone has within themselves and within yourself. You shine a light on those things within yourself, and so you're constantly in a state of change, constantly in a state of making this new passion, this new love within yourself, finding new ways to love yourself to a point where it's just overflowing from you. And it brings you so many opportunities. It's almost like you have an opportunity within every person to change not only them but yourself with how the journey goes within you too. And for some reason this strength and this valor card looks so similar. I feel like your sense of fighting for people and fighting for yourself and your true passions and values and this what you truly love within yourself is where you get your strength from. And you balancing that moon energy you have and those moon powers you have with the inner light and inner child you have within yourself, and really staying grounded and balanced with what you truly deserve and so do others deserve. That's when you're actually putting the work and change in the material world. That's when you're actually making a difference in the world with your love that will be passed down over generations. In bottom of the deck energy, we have the moon again. So definitely a lot of you have very powerful subconscious powers over people that come from your sense of love and abundance. Don't get involved with the wrong people. Don't be afraid to walk away from people who aren't willing to fight for you like you fight for them. And don't be afraid to walk away from people that have turned into a bad seed, who have turned into a bad plant, because just like, you know, bad seeds make more bad seeds. They don't just go away by themselves. But yeah, you do have this inner strength, because you have this, you're willing to fight. You're willing to fight for this Ace of Wands, whereas other people aren't. That's where your telepathy comes from, is from your love and who you fight for. That's where people feel you, is your sense of passion, your sexuality, and your love. Your love, your subconscious love, your love in the material world, your love for other people, your love for yourself, how you give love to the entirety of society and next generations that come after us and before us in the community, and how you just brighten up the universe within yourself on your own, how you create it from nothing. That's how you are aligned with your telepathy. That's how your telepathy works, is being aligned with those things and embracing those things as who you truly are and not doubting those things. But yeah, that's your reading, pile 2. Hi, pile 3. If you chose spiral, seashell, this will be your reading on your powers of telepathy. Okay, I'm gonna clear the energy for y'all because there's a need for higher protection. You're very protected as you are with all the Virgos you have and all the people watching over you, but still. We're gonna clear the air for this reading. And then I'm gonna put on my Archangel Michael San Miguel just to help us on our journey. God is kind to see a man's integrity, how he treats those he does not need. Alright, Spirit, connect me to pile 3 and their ancestors, spirit guides, angel guides, animal guides who watch over them, any spirits, entities that wish to come in contact with them, and those beyond the veil or in another reality or realm who watch over pile 3. Please align me with their abundance, their manifestations, and their sense of telepathy. Please align me to all of pile 3's highest good. Allow me to help them on their journey to grow with their problems, and allow me to touch the hearts and the situations of anyone who aligned with the vibration of pile 3. Spirit, what is pile 3's sense of telepathy? Hearing a lot of you have some drug use going on. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, it just has something to do with your telepathy. Maybe you get more meditative, or maybe you get in contact with one of the realms that aligns you with your telepathic powers. But let's see, Spirit, what is pile 2's sense of telepathy? What is pile 2's sense of telepathy? Why did I keep saying pile 2? What the hell? What is pile 3's sense of telepathy? You might have also aligned with pile 2. Don't be afraid to click on multiple readings if you align with more than one. Spirit, tell me about pile 3's sense of telepathy. Give me a sense of pile 3's telepathy. How does Pile 3's telepathy work? How does Pile 3's telepathy work? Telepathy. Telepathy. Two of Swords, truce. Truce. Pile 3 telepathy spirit. How does Pile 3's telepathy work? Eight of Cups. Pile 3's telepathy. Pile 3. Pile 3. How does Pile 3's telepathy work, Spirit? Tell me about Pile 3. Death. Death. Four of Swords, truce. My bad. Two of Swords was peace. Four of Swords was truce. For some reason, I always mix them up. But luckily they came out in the same reading. Lots of sword energy for my air signs here. Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. Six of Wands, victory. Some of you might receive a lot of acclaim, recognition, or fame on social media or otherwise for your power or whatever you give out to the world with your telepathy. And then we have Five of Pentacles, worry, next to Seven of Cups, debauchery, with the Empress, our Divine Feminine at the bottom of the deck. Hello to any Divine Feminines reading this pile. I see you, I feel you, I love you. I have a big fat lesbian crush on you. Alright. Anyway, your telepathy has to do whatever your social media is. Don't have social media. Telepathy has to do with, is that Jupiter in Leo? Yeah. No, that's Saturn in Leo, my bad. I always mix them up. So my Saturn in Leo's here. My Saturn also in Leo in 12th house. You receive acclaim through your telepathy. And your telepathy has something to do with acclaim and like ego. So like when you are in your ego and you're actually letting your ego balance out with your soul vibration, that's when you are able to do that telepathy that you do. But when you're not having that victory within yourself, when you're not confident within yourself, when you're self-doubting yourself, then it's gone. It's snuffed out like a light. For some reason, 7, 8 of Cups, I love this. But the 7 of Cups are in reverse. That's so good because it's literally debauchery. You don't be stuck in no illusions. You don't be all muddied up in other people's business. You don't be muddied up with things you shouldn't be worried about. Yeah, literally Venus and Scorpio. I'm sorry, my Venus and Scorpio is just like such intense energy over something that is going to end up being let go of. Let go of. Let go of. Then we have, can't really see, Pisces energy with this 8 of Cups here. Oh, my Pisces just in their ability to just move the fuck on. Jesus, look at my candle right now. Yeah. Those of you with Pisces placements, you have heavy, you know, you've gone through ego death a lot of times, and you've dealt with that past life karma. You've dealt with those situations where you've had to just move on and let go. A part of your power has to do with letting go of these past people who maybe you opened up your telepathy with, or maybe you shared that part of yourselves with them and they ended up still hurting you, and you couldn't, and maybe that betrayed that part of you that maybe was scared to open up to them about it. Maybe they even hurt you specifically for whatever you opened up to them with, and now you're scared to open up again. But you're having to move on from that. And literally by moving on from that, you're reopening these cups of water for these opportunities of reaching someone emotionally with your telepathic powers, and letting go of these illusions of who you are and who other people are. You very clearly see, the truth of a situation, the reality of a situation. You're not going to be all stuck up in your own illusions just because of your ego. With your telepathy, I'm pretty sure you experience a lot of people who just be all up in their ego. Yeah, I'm hearing like in this lifetime you are helping people through abuse, or you might be in a cycle of a lot of people who abuse you, just a literal cycle, like a spiral of like this repeating pattern of this lifetime that's maybe really hard on you, cause you a lot of anxiety and worry. But it's literally what the universe is giving you to grow and change. And it's almost putting you in this state of like non-abundance, not having prosperity. But really what the universe is calling you to do is like be grounded in what you say. Don't speak too fast, don't speak too impulsively. Think before you speak. Because with this Taurus and Mercury, you just like can get a little hot-headed or stubborn. You need to be more open-minded and stop worrying so much about situations. Stop worrying so much, especially when you open up your telepathy to other people. You get worried about how you're being perceived, and if you're actually going to have control or influence over the situation, that's not what you need to be worrying about. You need to be worrying about truly opening yourself up instead of putting on a mask. With this Two of Swords and this Two of Swords and this Four of Swords, you have the sense of like your soul asked to be in this position, or your soul chose to be in this position because of what it could reap, like the rewards it would reap after what you sow in this lifetime. Like with this Sword energy, lots of like sowing some very important things into your life. Yeah, we have Libra energy. Yeah, double Libra energy, just justice. So yeah, definitely bringing karmic justice on things. Your soul chose to be in like this stuck position, like where you can't really make a choice because of the ego death it would bring you and the ability it would bring you to move on from some sort of past pain or past life karma. And that's why you're receiving so much victory and acclaim and ego boost in this life, because that's what you deserve, to be appreciated for your true passive self and your feminine side and your inner child. But you have to go through a lot of tough situations, obstacles, where you just have to maneuver, like bend yourself into a particular position to be able to detach and let go and quit worrying and be able to actually gain from what you're doing instead of just losing. I'm feeling like with this Two of Swords here, in a lot of situations you have two options to like really speak up and say what you need to say, or you can just not say anything. And your power comes from like, obviously play it by ear, but you have really strong telepathic abilities to get across what needs to be heard in a situation when it's the right time for you to do that. Yeah. Jupiter in Libra. My Jupiter is in Libra. In the I'm hearing pain through gain, or gain through pain. Some of you might put yourselves into positions of pain so you can learn, or you can change, or you can grow. Some of you might grow by being put in positions of where it's just not fair to you, or it's not fair to other people, and you actually bringing justice to those situations. That's how you receive karma and justice, or that's how you give karma and justice to others. Really, I just see this give and take relationship between you needing karmic justice for yourself and you also not being able to give that to yourself. The only way you can give that to yourself is by giving it to other people and receiving it from other people. And you receive it from other people by people just loving you and appreciating you for who you are. You get this victory for, like, you know, actually doing the things you do. It's almost like when you actually surrender to the universe and align with this cycle and really just let go and flow with it, like the universe pushes you to do. That's when you move on, and you move on from these things that hurt you, and you actually, like, you know, express that and show that and share that with other people, that you've let go of this debauchery and shit. That's when you get this victory. That's when people are, like, loving you and they're like, oh yeah, and they're appreciating you. They're like, oh, I went through this too. Or, oh, I understand what you mean, like, you deserve better. Just, like, appreciating you for being able to go through that. The universe wants you to have that because so you can, like, you know, feel pumped up to keep doing that. You have this power to just get through things so easily and go through all these deaths and not have it change you so much as a person to where you turn bitter, you turn cold. Like, you're such a caring and nurturing person with this Empress energy that people, it's almost as if your telepathic powers make people want to change, want to let go of these emotional situations that aren't good for them. Your telepathic powers literally get across this feeling of wanting to move on, wanting to become unstuck from these things where, like, that aren't causing you peace, that aren't causing you happiness. And your telepathy brings peace to people. It brings death to those things that hurt them. But with death comes life, and the life that you bring is this sense of inner peace and love and loyalty. You love and are loyal to people like no other. And your ability to middleman and, like, medium in situations and just keep the balance in a situation is unmatched. Your telepathy comes from maybe in your inner childhood you had to keep the balance between people and you had to be the bridge between people. And it's like you subconsciously learned how to telepathically know when to step in and do that or be and play that role. Maybe karmically the universe is trying to help you to where you don't constantly feel like you need to control situations and make them better, and instead just surrender to how it comes out of you naturally. Like, sometimes, yeah, you can just be chilling, do whatever, playing your inner child, being your wise, emotionally mature passive self. But other times, like, you can step up in Six of Wands, like, be like, hey, like, I know you're wrong, because, like, you know, in those situations when you just surrender and, like, let it happen when it needs to happen instead of constantly trying to control the situation, that's when you can, like, actually step into your ego and be like, okay, and just cut through people's bullshit, say exactly what's wrong, and it hits them right in the chest, and they're like, ugh, this person's right. That's how they're feeling on the inside, but on the outside, they're like, just having to make peace with it and be like, oh, okay, just, like, tolerate you. But you really do eliminate people's worries. You eliminate those sort of bad vibes in a situation, or, like, a situation where there's, like, something still feels off. You pinpoint where that is. Like, that's where your telepathic power is. You talk to someone or you converse with someone until somehow y'all have pinpointed where that anxiety and worry is rooted, and you bring death to it. You allow people to move on. You allow people to find victory and balance within themselves. You allow people to get in touch with their inner child and divine feminine by being emotionally mature, being emotionally wise, seeing those things within themselves. Not only that, but protecting their inner child, bringing peace to their inner child, and taking away worry from their inner child. Stop making their inner child worry, instead, like, shouldering that responsibility on the part of you that, you know, deserves it. Ego, but not soul, you know? But yeah, this pile has major healing powers with your telepathy. So make sure you're not healing someone who's just, like, set on being unfixable or set on destructing themselves just so they can be healed by someone else. And then also make sure to do the healing within yourself so you're not becoming this negative emotional energy, and you can just shine the exact way you need to. You're staying passive and observant in who you truly are. You're aligned with your moon energies in the subconscious world, and you're aligned with divine timing, divine judgment, and karmic cycles in the universe. for sure. Alright, Spirit, give me one more card on what would be beneficial for Pal 3 to know about their telepathy and telepathic powers. Knight of Cups. So your telepathy, for my Cancers here, love you, my little Cancers, my Cancer placements. Really, your destiny and divine trajectory in this life has to do with Cancer energies and just bringing emotional karmic justice situations, like not logical like Libra, but emotional karmic justice, not only within yourself, giving your inner child retribution, but also for the other people who couldn't do that by themselves and who needed that help and that love from you, so they would stop doubting that they could do that with themselves. It's part of your life path. It's part of how you truly express your true emotional self, and it's how you feel the most aligned with feeling like you have a future, feeling like you're actually creating something out of all the experiences you've gone through, even the tough ones. And you're just gonna have to stay balanced and stay faithful and like build this foundation of like, doing the shadow work within yourself, and then also speaking out in emotional situations when you know you need to, because that's the more you learn about it and the more you go through the experiences and actually step up and be that person, the more it sort of builds and makes you grow into something even more powerful throughout your life. Like I'm seeing later in life, or in the later years of your life, maybe you could be in them right now, maybe you could be in them later, you will manifest a lot of emotional abundance and good karma from how much you've changed people and how much you've experienced this, Cancer energy over and over again, where you just fix these karmic situations, that you will become the ultimate healer. You'll be able to completely move on from the past, help other people move on from the past. Some of you might be some sort of priest or someone who sells like faith services like that, or like life counseling, therapy stuff, something like that. Maybe you don't even do this professionally, but it's just the type of energy you might have with people, and like your sense of love. Like you heal them, you don't try to change them, you let them be who they are, but let them love how they have their sense of love, but you also make sure they're not, you bring karmic justice whether good or bad. Like you bring love and pleasure and prosperity to the people who deserve it, and take away their sorrow to the people who need it. Like that's just who you are in this world. And then you cut down people's bullshit when they need it, because that's your soul's passion. That's how your sense of love and mutuality and telepathy with someone works. Is when you conversate with someone, with your friends or your lover, whoever, it's almost like in every conversation you end up pointing out those things, or those things end up being addressed. For some people that can end up getting out of hand, where like they feel like you're constantly nitpicking them. But when you're doing this in a way where you're not constantly trying to control a situation, you just breathe and surrender and let go and let people be in their own egos, unless you know you can actually like make a change. It's necessary. But when you conversate with people, you just happen to bring out that change with them. You happen to make them see, the negative energies in a situation, or what went wrong in the situation. Maybe they couldn't have understood it before. They couldn't have understood it from their own emotional viewpoint. You help people understand their own problems that they have, with your sense of love. And then you also, I'm also getting that maybe sometimes you have to adjust to like people project their karmic situations onto you, and that's what you're having to heal within yourself. Like that's your own karma, is when you don't let people project their karmic situations onto you, and you instead cut that down and change that. You change the cycle, literally. Like your telepathic power comes from changing that cycle of imbalance by bringing forth this energy of imbalance, or this energy of balance within yourself. And expressing where exactly the imbalance comes from. When you see it in a person, you pinpoint it, and you give the exact opposite energy, where you're giving someone balance and you're showing them how it's done. You have this beautiful capacity to flow into the universe and flow into the center of things. You just need to maybe align right now with some self-love, routines, creative routines, something that helps express who you truly are inside and what you want out of this lifetime in this world and what you love, not only about yourself, but about the people around you. Pile 3.